Hey guys, you want to have a jam session? Today I thought I'd talk about Jamboard. That's right, because it's my jam. No, serious. Jamboard is a really useful tool for formative assessments, just quick questions that engage the learner and get very fast responsive feedback in real time. In case you wanted to, ask some questions about a lesson just to see if your students are getting and retaining the information that you're putting out there for them. This would be a quick way to put them all together on one screen and just sort of generate ideas. I used it for a pretty interesting lesson the other day. It actually stems from a Google Classroom banner that I made. First, I'll show you that if you want to check it out. I made a Google Classroom banner, and if you want to know how to do that, just check in the videos. There's a tutorial on that. But if you watch my guy, he goes across the screen, full speed ahead, jumps, twirls, lands, and thinks. And he's in that pose, that thinking about it sort of pose. So I started to think about the statue that this kind of comes from, and I wanted to throw this out to my students and get them thinking too. So I created a Jamboard. So how do you create a Jamboard? Well, it's jamboard.google.com. It's in the URL up here, or in your Google Waffle, you can add Jamboard, or Jamboard will appear once you start using it. So it's a very useful app. And once you get on there, you guys can jam. It's really simple. Simple, I mean, there's not a lot of tools with it, and it's pretty simple to do. You just add a new jam by clicking on the plus icon in the bottom right-hand side of the screen. And that'll pull up your untitled jam, and you can rename that whatever you want to rename it. And on here, you will see that you get a blank canvas. And on that blank canvas, you can explore some of the backgrounds that they offer. And you cannot upload your own background, but you can change through the other backgrounds, such as graph paper or what have you. I like to use the graph paper because we're posing sort of a theoretical, hypothetical question today. And you can use this for lots of applications. That's why I like Jamboard. First, let me take you through some of the different applications that I found for it when kind of using it. Up here, you can add new canvases. So if you wanted to add new canvases, you could technically use Jamboard as sort of a student notebook or a student workbook. And you can add things like math equations. And I think there's a add-on actually that you can go to. I haven't done that because I'm not a math teacher, but there's an add-on that you can use that will actually interpret math equations that you want to write down. So if you kind of write them on your screen, it'll give you a text format of the math equation, and you can upload that to your jam, to your Jamboard. So that might be an option for you. Otherwise, you can just write them out. 3 plus 3, and put your equal sign there. And you can go across your different boards and you can do that. And what you can do is you can assign each slide to a different student. You can do that in a couple of different ways. And by the way, you have different options for pens here and different options for colors. And you can also clear the frame and start over. You can also erase the frame, go back to your pointer tool. So how would you share that? It's easy. It's up here in the obvious place for the share button, where it is always in our G Suite. But you just click share, and it's going to pull up your different ways to share. You have options to share as restricted mode. You can also change that. You can click on anyone with a link, and you can also give them privileges. So you can make them a viewer or an editor. For this portion, you would have to make them an editor. But if you wanted to make that not shareable with anyone, but only shareable with your county, or with the email servers and domains provided by your county, you can actually share with people in groups. And when you do that, you can add certain people. You can add them by email address, for example, and only those students will be able to share. And from there, you can set permissions for individual students. So if you didn't want everyone to be able to edit your board, you only wanted a certain student that maybe you called on to answer a question in real time, you can go in and change the permission for only that student to be able to edit it, and then change it back to view only so that you are the only person able to edit it. And it works well that way. Otherwise, if you wanted to just throw this out there and allow all students to be able to edit it, it's interesting in that you can throw up sticky notes. So this is sort of becomes a message board of sorts. It becomes maybe like a gallery walk. Lots of different opportunities for learning here. But you can put up sticky notes about the content that you want to talk about, and you can make these sticky notes bigger and smaller, and you can rotate their orientation. So I pose this question: what is he thinking right now? And I pose this question in response to a picture that I threw up on the Jamboard, which you can do by clicking the add image icon, and you can go to upload, or you can do a Google search. You can go from your Google Drive or your photos on your computer, wherever it is that you store images that you want to use for your class. In this case, I just have one already popped up on my desktop, and I've already taken it and gotten rid of the white background. I actually went to remove.bg and got rid of the background that way. So I can throw this down there and kind of make it look like he's just sitting on the paper. So this guy's sitting on the rock. He's in that same pose that my Bitmoji was in, sitting on my director chair. And I showed that to the kids, and now I'm showing this to the kids. So we get this idea generated about what is he thinking right now. So then students have the ability to go in and add in real time they can generate learning. He's thinking about lunch. And my Grammarly's popping up because I can't spell. Okay, so he is wondering what he'll do tomorrow. And this is all ideas generated from sort of some learning that took place. We did a quick search and found out that this statue was created in 1904 by a French artist named Rodin. And he actually says this about thinking. He says, what makes my thinker think is that he thinks not only with his brain, with his knitted brow, his distended nostrils, and compressed lips, but with every muscle of his arms, back, and legs, with his clenched fist and gripping toes. By choosing to depict the thinker as a strong athletic figure, Rodin conveyed that the act of thinking is a powerful exercise. And even up here, it says the bronze sculpture represents the creative mind at work. So we talk about how even something as simple as the act of thinking is hard on the mind. And it is with virtual learning right now. And then what I like to do, once we're done creating all these thoughts about what he's doing, is I showed them this book that I actually uploaded on my webpage, on my YouTube channel, of my son and daughter reading a book called Let's Do Nothing. And I'm not going to read the entire book to you, but you can search that on YouTube. But there's even a section in this book, and we did a portion of the book. It's actually got a statue in it.
Does he see in the park? You know, the ones carved out of stone and stuff. Frankie, what are you doing? Showing pigeons. Shooting pigeons is not doing nothing.
Okay, so long story short, these two kids, they figure out that, through a realization of actually trying to do nothing, that you can't do nothing. They're actually doing something, whether it be trying not to blink, or blinking, or sitting still, or not sitting still. Those are actually instances where they're doing something. And kids get like this sort of realization that, hey, man, you're right. You can't really do nothing. And, that's, again, we're talking about virtual learning, and we want the kids to not do nothing. We want them to do something, even if it's just learning like this. Other options for your Jamboard on your toolbar, you got the add image. You can add circles. You can add text boxes. And I like this, although the kids do too. If you wanted to pinpoint things, you have a laser pointer. So I like that option. And again, you can see many different ways that you can use this. I like it for formative assessments like this, or just generating ideas. It's quick and it's easy to use. It's easy to get to. All you have to do is share the link by clicking share and get link. You can post it on Google Classroom. You can send it in a Zoom chat. So I hope this helps you guys, and hope that you go and have a jam session in your classroom. And as always, if you enjoy this video and you like learning about new applications like this and you want to hear more, give us a thumbs up and pass the word, because hey, I'm just trying to work through this like you are, figuring out how to do things on my own. Not every YouTube video is helpful, not every tutorial is helpful. I have to always look at different tutorials and put a bunch of different stuff together to try to figure things out. So I try to put all of those into one so that I can send the message along to somebody else so that they can get some understanding too. All right, thank you.